Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Listen, the word of the Lord that I hear today is this is your window. This is your window. This is your window of opportunity for breakthrough. This is your window of opportunity for repentance. This is the window of opportunity to forgive. It's the window of opportunity to step out into the things that the Lord has been instructing you to do. God is saying this is the window of opportunity. With everything that's going on, it being the last days, there are many people that you're hearing the last days, and you're like, yeah, right? Some of you starting to sound like Charlie Brown's teacher, wah to you. But the Lord is saying, you're hearing things repeatedly because you're going to be without excuse. You're hearing things repeatedly because He loves you. You're hearing things repeatedly because He wants to give you an opportunity to get right with Him. This is your window. When God is nudging and He is pricking your heart to get certain things right. When He's pricking your heart and telling you it's time to move. He's pricking your heart. He's speaking to your heart and speaking to you and telling you it's time to end this relationship. It's time to let go. How do you know the Lord is speaking to you? Well, He's not going to thunder out of the sky and speak to you. You're going to hear videos like this. This or other messages will be something that you've heard before. You're going to maybe even just see it on another video. God will speak to your spirit. You hear it within yourself. Your situation, your relationship, the circumstances will start to get worse. These are the way that God will speak to you. This is your window of opportunity. When something comes, when you've been in a relationship, you've been in a situation, you've been in a church, you've been in an establishment that has kept you from doing the things of God, that has hampered you from doing the things of God, kept you from being obedient. It's a place where it may none of the above, but you've grown and it's time to move forward. Listen, things are going to start to change. Things are going to get very uncomfortable in those environments. And God's going to tell you over and over again. And there's going to come opportunities where you can move. So listen, you or the man or the woman that you're in a relationship with, if you're a male, the woman you're in a relationship with, the man that you're in a relationship with, if you're a woman, that it's not supposed to be and you know it, but you just can't get out. Well, guess what? One of you will get a job opportunity that's going to move you. Something will come up. Somebody's going to go to jail. It will be your time to move. While this person, God has put them here, this is your time to go. Sometimes it may be that, listen, the person doesn't want to be with you anymore. This person has not been a good partner anyway. And suddenly they're interested in another man. Suddenly they're interested in another woman. They don't want to be with you anymore. You're looking at it as, oh my gosh, what? No. This is your window. This is your window. Some of you may say, no, it can't be. I love him. I love her. But God sees their heart. God sees what they are doing. When these things happen, you pray. But when you see that person's refusing to come home or that person is acting up in the relationship, that is your window. Move when God is speaking to you, because God sees something. Do you know how many people, my brothers and sisters, that are dead, because they didn't move? They were dating a man or a woman that was just putting them through a lot of different things, or married to a person, they were putting them through stuff. The person ended up, let's say, going to jail or something happened. They moved away. And yet they kept in touch with this person. They kept on. They went to visit the person 2-3 hours away. They kept traveling. They kept doing these different things, regardless of what their family was saying to them. They just kept on. They just continued and continued and continued. And what happened? They go on this trip to go visit them and never come back home. Or the person gets released from jail or prison or wherever they were. They come back from wherever they were. Then maybe they got sent somewhere. They come back and they murder that person. Or this woman that's been troublesome, she comes back, the man takes her back not realizing she had a boyfriend. Or because you have insurance, she knows you have insurance, she knows you have this money, she knows that you never changed her as a beneficiary, so she gets her boyfriend or whoever, or hire somebody to kill you because you kept messing with her. So this is what happened to a lot of people. So I'm not saying this person you're with is necessarily going to kill you. Sometimes it could be as simple as you will kill them. Well, it's not simple, but it'd be like you're going to do it because they're going to drive you to that point. Or they're going to drive you to this place where you get very sick. Or they drive you to this place where they bring something to you that to include diseases. All right. Some of you have gotten diseases already from these people. This person has given you an STD. And you're still with them. You were able to go get this fixed, but guess what? It was remedied, but you don't know what that God sees what they're going to give you next. Sometimes you all have things that's permanent, but it's not a deadly disease. It could be you have herpes for the rest of your life. You have genital warts for the rest of your life. Well, it's not deadly, but it's not convenient either, right? How you interact with people is going to be different. When you meet someone and this is going to be your husband and your wife, or you have you have to be upfront about some things about your health. And a lot of times, guess what? They don't want to deal with that. So while that is not a fatal disease, God sees that they're getting ready to give you something that's going to be life-changing, life-altering, and deadly. You understand? God knows the heart of man. God knows when it's time for you to move. God's telling you this is your window to get out of this ministry. This is your window to move from this job. Because guess what? He has something lined up for you. And if you don't step out in faith, then guess what? You're going to miss the boat. You're going to miss the train. This is the time for you to step out. Somebody may be talking to you about something. It's legitimate, but, I don't want to leave the city. I don't want to whatever. Not realizing this is your opportunity to go. And then some of you, my brothers and sisters, it's just plain old sin. God is saying this is a window that you need to let go. This is the time you need to start getting rid of stuff. This is a window you need to start taking these things off your cell phone. This is a window that you need to be blocking people that gets you to keep sinning. This is the time to be taking your window to be actively moving towards obedience. Meaning, listen, take these things off your phone. Get out of these chats. Block these people. Stop these relationships. Stop getting into conversations with people trying to explain why you're going to start serving God now. Because that man or woman will sit there and talk to you. Oh, yeah, okay, well, I'm trying to serve God too. And la, 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 la. No. This is also the opportunity to move into that of the supernatural. There's a supernatural change that is going. So when you're finding that, listen, you're waking up at certain hours of the night or the morning, early mornings, pray. When there's an opportunity to fast and God's calling you to fast, fast, because this is your window. This is your window. He's getting ready to do what? Listen, he's getting ready to catapult you into some newness, into wholeness, into miracles, into breakthroughs, into healing, into getting into higher heights with him spiritually. Okay. So this is the time that, listen, this window you at home, get into the word of God, get into the word, get into prayer. Let him bring you to obey him, obey him, obey him. When he's telling you it's time for you to call your mother and reconcile. It's time to call this person and reconcile. And at the same time, when he says it's time to close this door, you have done enough. You've been damaged. That's it. When he said you need to forgive this person, sit here and forgive with me. Confess to me. Let me help you. That's your window to do the things that God has called you to do. It's a window. It's an opportunity. What does it mean when it's a window? It's a window of time that if you step into it right now, you will be healed. God will move radically in your life. But if you miss it, you find yourself back at square one, back at ground zero. And that is not what he's desiring. This is your window. This is your window of opportunity for so many things. To be healed, to be restored, to be forgiven, to be brought closer to the Lord. This is a window of opportunity. God is even saying that as you are under quarantine and you're home with your children, this is a time, my brothers and sisters, to make things right, to get to know them. Don't let your children be cowering in fear, thinking, I don't care if the virus is here. I'll take that. I'd rather go out to school. I'd rather be out this house and take the risk of getting corona than to be in this house with my mom and dad. That's really sad. Or they'll take the risk of coronavirus than to be in a house with a wife that's just a mess or a husband that's a mess. God is saying this is also the opportunity to reconcile with your family. You know, a while back I watched this video, and it was a father and a daughter, and they made up, I believe, maybe 10 cards with all the questions like, what is it that you like about me the most? What do you like the least? Well, not what do you like the least? What were moments that you were proud of me? What did you think of like when you first, whatever? If you can think of questions Q&A like that, and you just make up maybe 5 cue cards, and you ask each other those questions, you learn so much about one another. And you can have your kids come up with their own questions too, and just try that together and see. And don't get mad if they say something you don't like. But this is a time, a window of opportunity. You will never get this window of opportunity again to be at home. There's no rush from work. There's no rush for church. There's no rush for anything. To be at home with your family, to get to know them and to be reconciled. Even if they're not accepting it, you still do your part and make your effort and know that you've done your part. So even if they reject you, God still sees that you obeyed him and at least tried. So if they don't want to listen, they don't want to hear you, it's okay. Because guess what? God saw that you went in complete obedience and sincerity. They rejected you. And guess what? He's still going to move. Because in that window, that space that he gave you to do right, you did it. If they still do you wrong, that's okay. God sees what you did, and he's going to reward you, and he's going to comfort you, and he's going to move things in your favor. All right, guys.